Hey, what's up guys? Hope you're all doing well. So I thought with the new RoboCop game coming out shortly that it might be fun to do a review and ranking of all the RoboCop movies. So here we have all the tiers, S through to F, and then down here we have all 4 movies. I haven't seen any of the TV shows or animated series or anything like that, so I won't be including those in this tier list. It will just be the movies, the 4 films. So beginning with the original RoboCop from 1987. So this is one of my absolute favourite movies of all time. For me it's up there with like Aliens, Predator, the Terminator 2, all those sort of things. I absolutely love it. I remember watching it when I was young and enjoying it, but probably within the last year or so I watched it again as an adult and I really enjoyed it. Just pretty much everything about it. It's a 10 out of 10 movie in my opinion. Pretty much like I said, everything about it I enjoy. I don't find any boring bits, no dull bits. I enjoy all the characters, all the scenes, pretty much everything about it. The main character, I think he's called Murphy, the guy who gets turned into RoboCop. Really good character, really good acting all round. And the bad guys as well. The main bad guy, Boddicker, is a really cool bad guy. And the OCP, that guy in the OCP, really good baddie as well. Lots of cool fun action as well. It's a pretty violent film, but it's also kind of got a comedic side to it too. Like, you'll see RoboCop just beat the shit out of someone, but it's like really funny, almost slapstick, I'd say. Like that scene where he stops that guy from robbing that shop and he like just punches him and he goes flying into the fridge. That was really funny. And then the guy at the petrol station, and then that bit where there's that ex, I think he's an ex-mayor and he's been voted out and he takes the whole city hall hostage, and then when RoboCop just finds him and just like punches him out the window, I thought that was just so funny. And it's got a really cool kind of aesthetic and universe. It has kind of a retro futurism kind of feel to it, because being from the 80s, it's what they sort of imagined the world looking like in a few decades. So it kind of looks futuristic but old at the same time, which I really like the look of that. I think that's really cool. So RoboCop 1, definitely S tier. One of my favourite movies. If you've not seen it, just watch it now because it's so good. And now RoboCop 2. I don't know if I really have that much to say about RoboCop 2. Definitely not as much as RoboCop 1. Because basically to me it just felt like just a rehash of the first movie, but a lot more dull and nowhere near as interesting or fun or cool as the first one. Something I wasn't keen on is that overall I feel it feels a bit toned down to try and appeal to kids a bit more than the first one. The first one had a lot of violence and gore and blood and stuff in it, but the second one is like nowhere near that level. I found it quite boring overall. And I wasn't that keen on the characters either. RoboCop, yeah, was fine. That policewoman, I can't remember what her name is. You know, she's fine in it. But it's just the other characters, like the bad guys, I didn't really care for at all. The main bad guy, Kane, he's kind of a drug dealer and cult leader at the same time. And I never really found him very interesting, nowhere near as much as Boddicker from the first film. You know, he didn't seem as cool or badass or intimidating like Clarence Boddicker did. Although it was cool when he gets turned into RoboCane because what they're trying to do is make a replacement for RoboCop and sort of make a successor to him. So it's like another like really giant robot, and they need to find somebody with the right mental stability, or not stability, but the sort of the right, I don't know really how to explain it, but like they have to find someone, I guess, who's kind of psychopathic or has the right sort of mental will, sort of has the right amount of mental will, because they tried testing out a couple of ex-policemen, I think, who got killed. They try them, but it doesn't work, and they have to find Kane and use his brain to put in the robot. So I did think the robot was really cool, the RoboCane robot, and it has the same sort of stop motion that the Ed 209 from RoboCop 1 has. Although the Ed 209, I think I forgot to mention it, but the Ed 209 is one of the coolest things about RoboCop 1 as well. Just the design of it and the really weird looking stop motion that they use. So RoboCop 2, the RoboCane is pretty cool as well. But that's all I really have to say about RoboCop 2, to be fair. It's just a bit more of a boring, well, a lot more boring version, rehash of RoboCop 1. And probably the only thing I actually liked about it was the RoboCane robot. But other than that, I wasn't really a fan of it at all. But that's all I really have to say about it, though. So I'm going to say D. It's not a terrible film, but it's just not very good. Didn't really keep my attention. So RoboCop 3, I watched for the first time yesterday, and I'd say it's maybe a bit better than RoboCop 2. I found it held my attention a bit more, although I don't think it's the same actor. I think he's called Peter Weller or something who plays RoboCop. I'm pretty sure it's not the same actor in RoboCop 3 because his voice sounds completely different. And I wasn't really that keen on some of the elements of the story because that, I can't remember her name, but that policewoman who's like sort of RoboCop's sidekick, they just kill her off, and I thought that was a bit strange and just come out of nowhere. And then also, like RoboCop 2, I felt it kind of felt toned down for kids again, and just a bit more boring as well. And something else I'm not a fan of is kids being in films like these, like child actors. There was that girl who hacks systems and the robots and stuff like that. I'm not really keen on that, because you know they're not in any danger, and I just find them boring. Same with RoboCop 2. It had one of the bad guys was this really annoying, cocky little kid, and I just wanted to slap him. So I wasn't keen on that. Although I thought 3 was a bit better than 2. So let's say halfway between C and D for RoboCop 3. I don't say I'd say C, because I'd say C would be a decent film, but yeah, I wasn't that keen on that. And then lastly, the 2014 remake of well, it's not a one-to-one remake, but it's sort of loosely based around the original film and loosely kind of retells the events, but it's a bit more modern looking, being from 2014. I remember at the time I got it on Blu-ray when it first released, and then I just watched it once and then I sold the Blu-ray, and I remembered like almost nothing about the film. Like, I rewatched it yesterday and it like almost nothing I remembered. The only bits I remembered from it was the bit I thought was quite cool when he's kind of strapped to the thing that he's sort of stands. So when he gets disassembled and there's like nothing left but his head and his lungs and like one hand, I think. I thought that was cool, and that was one of the only things I remembered. And the other thing I remembered is that Murphy's death scene is nowhere near as cool as the original. It's like, not because, you know, in the original when he's like getting all shot and that by the bad guys, but in this it's just a car bomb, and it's just nowhere near as impactful or meaningful or anything. And it's there's no build up really, I didn't find, or not much build up, so I didn't really care about him like I did in the original film. But that was the only things I remembered, was the car bomb death being lame, and then when he gets taken apart and all you see is like his head and his lungs, which I thought was actually quite cool. So it's not a one-to-one remake, it's actually fairly different. But to be fair, I would say it is a bit of a pointless remake and nowhere near as good as the original. But if you can put the original out of your mind and just watch it like purely just for what it is, just forget it's even called RoboCop, you know, if you just treat it as a standalone movie just on its own, completely in a vacuum, it's actually a decent film. It did hold my attention and I found it quite entertaining. It did have some cool bits. It didn't get boring or anything. I would say I did enjoy it. It was an alright film. So I would say it's better than 2 and 3, but nowhere near as good as the first one. So I'd put RoboCop solidly in C tier for the RoboCop remake. So that was my tier list and ranking and reviewing of the 4 RoboCop movies. Make sure to let me know what your thoughts are on the movies, which ones you like and which ones you don't like, and let me know, are you looking forward to the game when it comes out? Are you going to get that game when it releases in about a week or 2, I think it is. So thanks for watching the video. Make sure to give it a like and subscribe if you aren't already, and I'll catch you next time.